Another thing that's different is California, from my understanding, New York did not allow for indoor grows out the gate because of the energy footprint. And California never had that consideration, and California has a huge, energy problem, what its sources of energy are. And I appreciate that in New York we started with mixed light, and some operators such as MFNY are really proving the level of quality that we can get from mixed light and changing the narrative. Customers really have to be open-minded to try something new, to realize like, oh, hey, this is actually, it's a little different, but this is just as good. And so, that's actually a big difference. The fact that we have mixed light here and not indoor, whereas in California, indoor, but like also air conditioning bills and blackouts. So, yep.
And obviously, the illicit market or the legacy market has thrived despite legalization as well. They kind of sit and work in tandem, correct?
In California? Yeah, I don't think it's realistic to think that anywhere there will not be an illicit market. I think it's more so, is the legal market healthy? And I would say here in New York, we have the opportunity for it to be healthy. So far, all of the product, the vast majority of product that's sold in retail facilities is grown here in New York. In licensed retail operations here is grown here in New York. Prices have been relatively stable. Like a lot of the oversupply issues we've seen from California just forced prices to tank from really early on, and it's hard for any operator to keep their doors open when there's no meat on the bone.
Okay. No, that's great. That's great. And Natalia, obviously we don't have interstate commerce, interstate trade, but there's a lot of Californian weed here. But let's talk about being a regulated cultivator and processor here. What hoops do you have to go through? What regulations do you have to adhere to actually put a plant on the shelf here? What restrictions are there? You can't just grow in California and ship here officially, can you?
Well, a lot of hoops, definitely. But I think the main one is that everything sold in New York in the legal stores have to be grown here, processed here, packaged here. So a lot of the brands from California that have entered the market are actually producing and growing their product here with the farmers and with some processors, right? So a lot of regulatory challenges, a lot of financial challenges, obviously, but also the delay of the program, like we just heard, that was definitely something that we all had to survive through and persevere. Challenging environment.
And so MFNY as a brand, I think it's been quite proud about growing its own product and not growing for other people. But in terms of the brands you see on the shelves here, there are a limited amount of cultivators and there are quite a lot of brands. Is there a lot of overlap between brands growing with the same cultivator?
Yes, we have received a lot of white label requests to our operation, but we have had only one chance to put out a brand that is a New York-born brand. So we decided to focus our efforts on that. And I bet that there were other doors that were opened for these brands, and unfortunately, this also affects the quality. So the same brand that you tried in California, you're buying here in New York, may not be of the same quality, of the same expectation that you have.
Yeah, okay, great. So let's talk a bit about the realities of building a business, a dispensary business, a processing manufacturing business, and some of the general environment next. Miri, Gotham, in terms of all the dispensaries in the city, shows up very differently. Can you tell us a bit about the philosophy behind Gotham, how you're showing up, what kind of take you have?
So the impetus for Gotham emerged during COVID, when the founder was kind of mourning the loss of people going out and gathering in community, and the way we started shopping online all the time, and the death of the more quintessential New York retail shopping experience. So Gotham is sort of like a bit of a rebirth, or the intention is a rebirth of all of those things. So we have a tree in the center of the store with benches around it that is intended to invite people to come and hang out, even if you're not shopping. We have events constantly, same type of thing. We want people to come out in community. We have an art gallery on the mezzanine, showcasing local artists and having activations. And then the whole front of the store is lifestyle and home goods and amazing wares from New York designers, but also designers from around the world. And when it comes to the cannabis, the goal is to keep it really curated. So if it's in our store, it's the best quality that New York has to offer. We stand behind it. You're going to be stoked on it. And I think over time, while that is a lot for us to accomplish out the gate, over time, we're already seeing it's paying off. As other places everyone's competing with each other and with the illicit shops, and we're really doing things differently in the way we are curating quality, standing behind quality, creating an experience, offering, things for every part of your lifestyle, doing amazing events. Yeah.
Okay, and then for our attendees here today, Jeffrey, if someone here wanted to open a dispensary officially, what would the process be that they'd have to go through?
So in some way you have to get a license. You can join with someone that already has a license. You can become a member of their LLC or in some way invest in them and do that. Or you can apply for your own. There's currently not anything that you can apply for right now, as we would say in the parlance. The application period in the state of New York is now closed. We've had 2.5 application periods roughly so far. The first one was, let's call it 3. So there was this AUCC and AUCP, that is originally how MFNY got their license. The way the state kind of started is they let the hemp folks, if you were growing hemp in the state, they let you then come into the intoxicating cannabis business. So these were the AUCCs and the AUCPs. Adult use conditional cultivator, adult use conditional processor. The state then opened up the card application period. That was in fall of 22. These were the folks that had conviction to get a retail dispensary. They've now given out 463, I believe is the number, and there's probably another 50 to 100 to go, folks that are still applicants. And then just this past fall, we had another application round where we had the cultivation, processing, distribution, retail dispensary, and micro businesses available. Those were the retail licenses were available as both provisional and non-provisional. Non-provisional is if you're applying with a location. The provisional was if you were applying without a location, you wanted to get a license and then be able to go find a location. This was actually an idea we had talked a lot with Julie Holbert out of Vermont. This is something Vermont did very successfully. So particularly if you're a state where you're going to want to have a lot of equity folks that may not have the capital and the resources and who are going to go to a landlord, and the landlord's going to look at them and just say, I don't think you can pay rent here. If you get a provisional license from the regulator, that gives you something that you can go to a landlord and say, hey, I'm a serious player. The state has already vetted me. They've already said I'm ready to go with this. I'm now ready for this. And that's a signal to the landlords. This is someone that's serious. This is someone that's already been vetted. So that's what you could do. Right now, like I said, there's no application open. We do anticipate it opening again later this year. There are licenses we have not given out yet. There's a standalone delivery license we haven't given out yet. There's an on-site consumption license we haven't given out yet. There's a co-op license we haven't given out yet. There's a nursery license we haven't given out yet. So we do anticipate there will be additional application periods this year, but it's entirely up to the regulator which licenses, how many, et cetera, but it's certainly coming.
Fascinating. And you've described a bit of the process that MFNY went through. Natalia, it's got New York in the name. Can you tell us a bit about why it's Marijuana Farms New York, MFNY? Because there are lots of brand names out there and they seem pretty generic. And just in brackets in the background, this is the facility at MFNY. Has anyone been to a cannabis farm?
I've been
a facility? No?
It's great.
Okay, it's just as an interlude, it's basically very high tech. It's food grade, CGMP certified. You can see a lot of the shots here. Probably most people don't have this kind of image of the cannabis industry in their heads, but this is the grade at which you're building this at scale. This will be published, I think, soon on the internet, but you got a sneak preview of a kind of tour of the farm in the background. But getting back to MFNY, yeah, tell us why New York, obviously.
Yes, we do have New York in our name, and we took on this big challenge of representing New York, its plants and its people and its product, and we also took it very seriously and responsibly. While a lot of the brands have rushed to the first legal shelves to put out their product, what they had, we actually held back our first grow in the mixed-light greenhouses, which was very good compared to a lot of what we've seen on the shelves. But we knew that there is only one chance to make that first impression, and it's a lasting impression. So we went straight away to the quality. This was our focus from the very beginning. And we are also, this is why we stay true to the plant in all we do. We actually flash freeze our best buds that we hand dry, hand trim, and we extract something that is called live frozen and live resin. So this is live product. It actually preserves the best of the plant, all the cannabinoids, all the flavors, all the goodness that this beautiful plant has to offer. This is what we are trying to preserve and put in the form of the extract for the New Yorkers to enjoy. And the reason why we're doing it, because this product is largely unavailable in the state, right? So in the illicit market, it rarely made its way to New York shores. Quite honestly, it probably got consumed and bought right there at home in California. And even if it made it here through illicit markets, we never know, if this product is real, and it might be overpriced. So giving this kind of quality to New Yorkers right from the start was our mission. And we continue going that way. We continue working on our processes internally, not only to produce the quality product, but also to offer it at a fair price, at a price that is makes sense for the market and makes sense for people to try this quality of product. We are your fellow New Yorkers from all the different walks of life, and we are consumers of these products ourselves. So we are proud to say that we put to the shelf something that we smoke and enjoy, and something that all New Yorkers can be proud of and say, yes, this is our motherfucking New York product.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's...
But I don't just say that. We have actually been named #1 concentrate brand just recently, last week, by Headset. Headset is data, is a program that stores use. So it's not used by all the stores, so it doesn't reflect the 100% of data, but even with what we have been named the #1 concentrate brand in New York. And we have also won already 12 awards in our 1.5-year operation. Competed in the competitions with a lot of illegal brands representing New York, its crops, and its people.